David Taub here, co-creator of NextLevelGuitar.com. Hope all is going well, and I hope your guitar and musical journeys are going famously. And welcome to a series of lessons I'm going to be doing on lead guitar and different techniques and devices that you can add to your lead guitar playing to help you develop your own voice on the guitar. These are just springboards that I want you to take and put your own twist on and make them your own. A lot of these devices you can use across, any scale that you're playing, and there are ways that you could maybe add something different to your playing or some new technique or something that you could pull from and get inspired by. And some of the techniques I'll be doing in these lessons will be more beginner level, some intermediate, and some a little bit more advanced. So I kind of want to do a little sprinkle of each. In this lesson, what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you a really cool pedal technique that works with any scale that could really bring some cool different sounds to your playing, as well as kind of build. I used it in when the kind of chord changed in the jam track to kind of build that part of the solo. Before we get rocking, if you could do me a favor, please subscribe to the channel. Subscribing to the channel, that really helps us to keep bringing the content. Then also you will be notified when we have some new lessons up. Leave a comment below. Let me know what lessons you'd like to see coming up, how you like this lesson. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and we thank you so much for your support. And I'll put the complete solo at the end of the video, and this way you could check out the devices that I'm using in the context of a whole solo over the track. Here's the lick in Over the Jammin' Time. So this is a technique that works with any scale. I'm just going to show it to you in the key of B minor using a B natural minor scale. But it works with any scale you could use this with. This is why these techniques and devices are so awesome. It's not just for one particular thing. You could blast it across all your playing at any time. Now we're jamming in the key of B minor over this sludgy B minor track. We're using B minor pentatonic and blues scales, as well as we're using the B natural minor scale. All right, and let me show you the scale we're using to build this lick. It's off that second fret A string on the B note, and it's movable. That's your root note. Find the scale in any key with that position. So here's the scale. All right, get that under your fingers. As you're practicing it and getting it under your fingers, I could help you with that. I'll send you a free video lesson on some other ways to really help spice up your soloing, as well as an ebook. And in the ebook, I diagram out not just these scales, but like 29 scale patterns across the neck. There's fretboard diagrams, soloing strategies, other lessons. It's a great resource you'll use throughout your guitar journey. Just click on that link in the YouTube description box. I'll send them both to you for free. I'm doing a couple different things when I execute this lick. The first is I'm muting the strings to create this different sound. And I do that a lot in my playing. Sometimes I'll just let the notes wail away. Sometimes I'll mute them out just to give a little different texture to them. And if you are familiar with my lessons, you know that I'm a big proponent of muting the strings to kill all the string noise, right? Because, when you're bending strings, you're going to be hitting other strings and stuff. So you got to kind of mute out every note, every string that you're not playing. You only want to hear the one that you are playing. We do that with our two-hand muted techniques. I have lots of lessons like to teach you that on the website. But basically, you're going to keep your hand right on the strings, your pick hand, lay it right down on the strings, and you're moving it up and down slightly. It's a real kind of nuanced thing as you're moving up and down the strings to mute them. Really cleans up your playing. So the lick, if I do it slow. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to play the scale fragment. We're going to play this piece of the scale. But the crux of this is we're pedaling off of a certain note. We pick a note, and then we go to a different note in the scale. Then we go back to this note, go to another note in the scale, go back to this note, go to another note in the scale, and you get this pedaling effect, which could sound really, really cool. You could do long, short. It's a great device to have in your tool belt. In this instance, we're going to pedal off the A note, which is very cool because that's the flat seventh in this scale. so it's dark and minor sounding. So you could, pick your pedal note, pick the root, pick a flat third, flat seven, pick whatever you want. But the strong chord tones, those strong notes sometimes make really, strong solo statements. So the other thing you want to do with pedals a lot is try to find if you could bar your finger across multiple strings. This will allow you to play the lick really fast and speed it up as opposed to moving your finger through each string. So you always want to look for that. Really important. So what I'm doing is our A note is what we're pedaling off, 2nd fret G string. So I play that note, then I go to the 2nd fret of the B string. Then I go back to the A note, 3rd fret, just right up the scale of the B string. Back to the A note, 5th fret of the G string, right? So you get this sound. All right, and I'm kind of inside picking it, where I'm putting the pick in between the G and the B strings, and I'm going up, down, up, down, up, down. Muting the strings at the same time. Now the lick gets a little tricky because now we got a string skip. We got to skip over the B string to get to the next 3 notes of the scale. Again, pedaling off that A and leaving that first finger barred on that 2nd fret. Play the A, then 2nd fret on the high E string, then 3rd fret, skip over the B, back to our A, 3rd fret on the high E, back to the A, 5th fret. So that high E string sounds like this. Okay, the lick doesn't sound as good when it's slow, but when you start speeding it up, right, you get these cool pedal sounds. Because every other note, you're going back to that A. Now when I get up to that high A note here, I slide up a whole step because that puts me at my root note B, which is always a whole step away from that last note in the scale in this particular shape. And then I can do so much from there. I think in the solo I went back and then I did some fast legato thing, but that's the technique. That's the device. So you want to work that up to speed. It's going to take a little time to really get that flowing, but again, this is something you could use with any scale. You could also do it descending, like between the high E and the B strings, taking these notes in the scale. Right, and there's a cool little pedal. You can move it down. Right, there's so much that you could do with that. Just take a scale fragment, whatever scale you're working on, doesn't have to be natural minor, whatever, and try to find a cool hip note to pedal off of, and then just take it up, going back to the note and take it up the scale or down the scale, and find cool licks to attach it to and build. And you'll soon find that you'll be adding this into your arsenal of destruction, right? Your arsenal of different techniques and devices that you use when you're playing. Make it your own, put your own spin on it, and have fun with it. And the gear I'm using in this lesson, I'm using an American-made Paul Reed Smith 513 guitar, okay? And throughout the lesson, I'm playing either out of the neck pickup or the bridge pickups. They're all single coils, but select the 2 back ones and get that humbucker sound, right? And in the, I'm playing through a Paul Reed Smith MT15 tube amp. It has the 6L6 tubes in it. I'm on the lead channel. The gain's about 50%. The only effect I'm using is in the effects loop. I have a Keeley Caverns pedal, just providing a little bit of splash of reverb and a splash of delay. I'm plugged right from the guitar straight into the front of the amp. And during the actual teaching part, I have the delay turned off and the gain down for instructional purposes. Stay tuned, lots more killer content and lessons coming up. We're going to do a lot in this series of lessons. Thanks so much for joining me. Remember, subscribe to the channel. That really helps us to keep bringing the content, and you'll also be notified when we have new lessons up. Don't forget, click that link in the YouTube description box. You'll get my free video lesson on other ways to spice up your soloing, plus the ebook where I diagram out like 29 scales, tons of soloing strategies, lessons, major, minor key. It's a great reference book. Just click on that link below. We're going to keep bringing the best possible content. Best of luck in your guitar and musical journeys. Stay positive. Keep up all that hard work on that guitar, and remember, your guitar playing is an evolution. Take care and rock on.